I stand outside the estate at 11:43 on a Tuesday night in October, watching my breath cloud in the cold air. The house is Georgian revival, all symmetry and imported stone, lit from below by landscaping floods that make it look like a museum after hours. I didn't plan to be here. I was driving back from Boston when I remembered I'd left a book in the library, a first edition Borges my grandmother gave me years ago. I have 3 copies now, but that one matters. The side entrance near the conservatory is always unlocked. My father thinks security is for people who have something to hide. I let myself in quietly, more out of habit than discretion. The house smells like lemon polish and the particular kind of expensive candle my mother orders from a supplier in France. I'm halfway down the corridor when I hear voices. They're coming from my father's study. The door is ajar maybe 3 inches, and there's a slice of amber light cutting across the Persian runner. I recognize the voices immediately: my father, my sister Lauren, and Michael Hayes, who used to sleep in my bed 2 years ago before he decided a trauma surgeon's daughter was a better investment than someone who plays with computers. I should leave. I know I should leave. I don't leave. Completely unaware, and my father is saying. His voice has that particular timbre it gets after his 3rd scotch, confident and careless. She still thinks we're talking about a standard estate trust. Jonathan, are you sure she won't read it? That's Michael. He sounds nervous, which surprises me. Michael's many things, but nervous isn't usually one of them. Have you met my daughter? Lauren's voice drips with something between amusement and contempt. Evelyn can barely navigate a dinner party without looking like she's solving differential equations in her head. She's not going to read 7 pages of legal documentation. She'll sign wherever Daddy points. There's laughter. My father's is loudest. The girl has a master's degree from MIT, Michael says, but he doesn't sound convinced, just procedurally cautious. In computer science, Lauren says, loading the words with pity. She's brilliant with machines. Absolutely useless with people. She doesn't understand subtext, she doesn't understand nuance, and she certainly doesn't understand that sentimental attachment is a vulnerability, not a virtue. Eleanor should never have left that house, my father says, and now his voice has an edge. 47 acres of coastal Maine real estate, and she gives it to the one person who'll turn it into a shrine instead of an asset. How much do we need? Michael asks. There's a pause. I can picture my father swirling his glass, watching the light catch the amber liquid. 12 million to settle the Vandermeer case. Another 8 to cover the shortfall from the Brunson trial. 23 if we want to avoid the audit entirely. Jesus, Jonathan. I had a strategy. The jury was supposed to. He stops himself. It doesn't matter now. What matters is that we have a solution. The main property appraises at 18 million as is. With development rights, we're looking at 35 to 40. Evelyn signs the quitclaim. We attach it to the trust reformation documents. She thinks she's doing us a favor by keeping things in the family, and we liquidate before Christmas. And if she asks questions? Michael again. She won't, Lauren says. She never does. She just sits there with those big traumatized eyes and waits for someone to tell her what reality is. It's honestly pathetic. The irony, my father says, and I can hear the smile in his voice, is that she probably makes 60, maybe 70,000 a year doing IT consulting or whatever it is she does in Boston, and she thinks she's independent. She has no idea how money actually works. No idea what it takes to maintain a position in society. She's playing at adulthood while we do the actual work. When are you meeting with her? Michael asks. Friday. 3 o'clock. I'll have the documents ready. 2 copies, pre-signed by me and witnessed by Sullivan. She'll sign on page 3 and page 7. The quitclaim is buried in the middle. She won't even see it. And you're sure this is legal? Michael, I've been practicing law for 31 years. Of course it's legal. Unethical as hell, but perfectly legal. And after what she put this family through, the embarrassment at the club, the way she humiliated your sister at that fundraiser, walking around like she's too good for normal human interaction, she owes us this. I never humiliated anyone at a fundraiser. I left early because someone made a joke about sexual assault and everyone laughed. But that's not how the story gets told in this house. She'll be fine, Lauren adds. It's not like she needs it. She doesn't have our expenses. She wears the same 6 outfits in rotation and drives a car from 2019. Honestly, we're doing her a favor. Liquidating that property means she doesn't have to worry about taxes or maintenance or any of the complicated adult responsibilities she's clearly not equipped to handle. To Evelyn, my father says, and I hear the clink of glass on glass. The smartest idiot I've ever met. More laughter. I stand there for another 30 seconds, listening to them move on to discussing Lauren's new Tesla and someone named Amber's liposuction results. Then I walk back down the corridor the way I came, let myself out through the conservatory door, get in my 2019 Audi, and drive back to Boston. I don't cry. I don't shake. I don't feel much of anything except a strange kind of clarity, like something that was slightly out of focus has suddenly sharpened. It's 12:47 when I pull into the parking garage beneath my apartment building. I live in the Seaport District in a 3-bedroom unit I bought under an LLC 2 years ago. The view faces the harbor. My neighbors think I'm a mid-level consultant. They're not wrong, technically. I consult. Just not the way they imagine. I make chamomile tea and open my laptop. The browser loads a private network I built myself. It doesn't route through any commercial infrastructure. The login is biometric. I place my hand flat on the sensor pad and wait for the 3-stage authentication to cycle through. Welcome, E. Carter. I pull up the internal file system for Helix Sentinel. We're a privately held cybersecurity and digital forensics firm with offices in Boston, London, Singapore, and Austin. We specialize in network architecture for financial institutions, healthcare systems, and defense contractors. Our client list includes 11 Fortune 500 companies, 2 national governments, and the U.S. Department of Defense. I founded the company 9 years ago, when I was 18. With $12,000 I made building custom encryption software for a pharmaceutical company that was tired of getting hacked. By the time I was 23, we'd secured our first DoD contract. Last quarter, our revenue was $473 million. We're scheduled to IPO in 6 weeks. Current private valuation sits at $8.2 billion. I own 71% of the company. I've never told my family any of this. Not because I'm ashamed. Not because I don't trust them. Because the version of me they need to believe in, the one who's socially awkward and financially illiterate and too naive to function in the real world, is useful. It keeps them from looking too closely. It keeps them from asking questions. It's kept me safe. I open a second window and access the secure server we use for internal investigations. 6 months ago, I installed monitoring software on my father's firm's network. Not because I suspected anything. Because I've learned that the people who talk the most about integrity are usually the ones who need to be watched. It takes me 40 minutes to pull the relevant files. My father has lost $63 million over the past 3 years. Most of it came from a catastrophic miscalculation in the Vandermeer wrongful termination case, where he advised the client to go to trial instead of settling, convinced he could sway a jury. He couldn't. The judgment was $38 million. His firm's malpractice insurance covered half. The rest came out of his personal accounts, liquidating investments, calling in favors, restructuring debt. He's been hemorrhaging money ever since, taking increasingly reckless cases, doubling down on his own mythology. There's an email from 14 months ago, sent to Lauren at 2 in the morning. Need to discuss grandmother's property, the only liquid asset left untouched. Must move before Q4 audit. She won't understand the implications. Timing is everything. Lauren's response, sent 6 minutes later. She's too stupid to see it coming. I'll back your play. I find another file dated 3 weeks ago. It's a Word document titled The Evelyn Problem. I open it. It's a strategy memo. Bullet points. My father's writing style, clinical and precise. Subject demonstrates persistent inability to advocate for self. Sentimental attachment to grandmother exploitable. No legal representation likely. Trusts family implicitly. Main property represents $35 million plus liquidity if transferred. Quitclaim plus trust restructure equals clean transfer, minimal oversight. Timing, before IPO rumors circulate, if any exist. Risk assessment, low. Subject lacks sophistication to recognize leverage. There's more, but I stop reading. I close the laptop and sit in the dark for a long time. People think intelligence is about speed. It's not. It's about patience. It's about seeing patterns. It's about knowing when to move and when to wait. I've been waiting my whole life. At 8 the next morning, I call Daniel Roth. He's one of 4 people who know the full scope of what I've built. He's the strategist managing our IPO, former Goldman Sachs, unflappable, and ruthlessly competent. Evelyn, he says, picking up on the second ring. You're up early. I need to talk about legal exposure. There's a pause. I can hear him shifting into a different gear. What kind of exposure? Family. Once the IPO closes and the valuation becomes public, can they claim I owe them anything? Support, inheritance allocation, anything that could tie my assets to their debts? Are they planning to? Potentially. Then we need to create a paper trail establishing financial independence and explicit renunciation of any claims. Are they asking you to sign anything? Yes. Friday. A quitclaim deed and trust reformation documents. Another pause, longer this time. Evelyn, if you sign a quitclaim deed without fully understanding. I understand completely. That's not the issue. The issue is whether I can use it. I hear the smile in his voice. Use it how? They're planning to bury the quitclaim in the middle of a trust document. They think I won't read it. They're counting on it. And you want to flip it? Yes. You want them to believe they're exploiting you while you're actually severing all legal obligation. Exactly. That's elegant. Also potentially complicated. If they argue coercion or misrepresentation later. They won't. Because I'm going to give them exactly what they're asking for. I'm going to sign everything. I'm going to play confused and grateful. And I'm going to make sure there are witnesses. Daniel's quiet for a moment. Then, you want them to go on record underestimating you? Yes. And once the IPO closes and your net worth becomes public, they'll realize what they signed away. If we add the right language, yes. What kind of language? Complete financial renunciation. No claim to IPO proceeds, no access to corporate assets, No inheritance rights beyond what's explicitly outlined. I want a waiver so comprehensive that if they try to sue me for support, emotional damages, or any other creative legal theory my father might invent, they have nothing. That's scorched earth, Evelyn. I know. You understand that once you do this, there's no repairing the relationship. There's no relationship to repair. He doesn't argue. I'll draft the language. You'll need to insert it into their document without them noticing. I can do that. And you'll need witnesses who can testify you understood what you were signing. I'll bring Marcus. Marcus Reed is my head of security. Former Marine Corps, discreet, observant, and completely loyal. He's one of the few people who's seen both versions of me, the one my family believes in and the one that actually exists. Friday at 3? Daniel asks. Yes. I'll have the language to you by Thursday night. Evelyn? Yes. This is going to hurt them badly. You're sure? I think about my father's voice, warm and amused, calling me the smartest idiot he's ever met. I think about Lauren's casual cruelty, the way she talks about me like I'm a child who needs to be managed. I think about Michael, who once told me he loved me, sitting in that study and helping them plot. I'm sure. Thursday night, Daniel sends me a PDF. It's 4 pages of dense legal language, designed to be inserted into Section 7 of a standard trust reformation document. The key paragraph is on page 3. The undersigned, Evelyn Carter, hereby voluntarily and irrevocably waives any and all claims, present or future, to financial support, inheritance allocation, IPO proceeds, equity distribution, or any other assets derived from or related to the Carter family estate, Helix Sentinel Corporation, or any affiliated entities. This waiver constitutes full and final settlement of all obligations, explicit or implied, and may not be contested, amended, or revoked under any circumstances. It's perfect. It sounds like standard legal boilerplate. Unless you're reading carefully, it looks like a clause protecting the family estate from outside creditors. But it's not. It's a severance contract. Once they sign it, they lose any claim to anything I've built. And if they try to argue later that I deceived them, I have their own words, their own contempt, as evidence that they believed I was too stupid to deceive anyone. I spent Thursday night integrating Daniel's language into the document my father's paralegal sent me on Wednesday. I make sure the formatting matches perfectly. I adjust the page breaks so the waiver clause lands exactly where they'll be least likely to see it. Then I print 2 copies and place them in a leather portfolio. Friday morning, I choose my outfit carefully. Dark jeans, a grey sweater, canvas sneakers. No makeup. Hair in a ponytail. I look exactly like the version of myself they expect, understated, slightly disheveled, harmless. Marcus meets me in the lobby of my building at 2:15. He's wearing a suit, which surprises me. You didn't have to dress up, I say. Yes, I did, he says. We're creating a record. He drives. I sit in the passenger seat and watch the highway unroll, trees blurring past in shades of rust and gold. The closer we get to Greenwich, the larger the houses become, estates hidden behind stone walls and iron gates. We pull into the driveway at 2:58. My father answers the door himself, which is unusual. He's wearing chinos and a cashmere sweater, casual but expensive. He smiles when he sees me, the same warm, paternal smile I've seen 1,000 times. Evelyn. Right on time. Come in, come in. I step inside. Marcus follows. My father glances at him, confused. I wasn't expecting. This is Marcus Reed, I say. He works with me. I asked him to come. There's a flicker of something in my father's eyes. Irritation, maybe, or recalculation, but he covers it smoothly. Of course. Always good to have a second set of eyes. We follow him into his study. Lauren is already there, perched on the arm of the leather sofa, scrolling through her phone. She looks up when we enter, and her expression shifts through surprise, amusement, and something sharper. You brought a bodyguard? She asks. Witness, a Marcus says quietly. Lauren's smile doesn't reach her eyes. To a family meeting? Estate documents require witnesses, I say. I thought it would be simpler. My father gestures to the chair across from his desk. Perfectly fine. Let's get started. He opens a folder and slides 2 documents across the desk. They're formatted exactly as I remember, 7 pages each, dense blocks of text in 10-point font. This is straightforward, he says, shifting into the voice he uses with juries, warm and authoritative. Your grandmother's estate is still held in trust, and we need to reorganize the structure for tax purposes. There are some updates to the distribution schedule, a few adjustments to the property management clauses, and a quitclaim deed for the main house so we can handle maintenance and taxes more efficiently. Efficiently, I repeat. Exactly. Right now, the property is in your name, which means you're personally liable for upkeep, property taxes, insurance. This shifts the responsibility to the family trust, which is better capitalized to handle those expenses. He's good. He sounds completely reasonable. And I'm signing it over? I ask. I let my voice carry a note of uncertainty. Technically, yes, but you're not losing anything. You'll still have access to the property. It just simplifies the legal structure. What about inheritance? Lauren leans forward. Evelyn, you're not being written out of anything. This is about efficiency. Dad's explained it 3 times. I just want to make sure I understand. You don't have to understand, and my father says gently. You just have to trust me. I look at Marcus. He's standing near the door, hands clasped, expression neutral. Our eyes meet for half a second. Okay, here I say. My father hands me a pen. 2 copies. Sign on page 3 and page 7. I'll witness. I take the pen. I flip to page 3. There's a signature line with my name typed beneath it. I sign slowly, carefully. Then I flip to page 7 and do the same. Second copy, my father says, sliding it across. I repeat the process. Lauren watches with barely concealed boredom. My father signs as witness, his signature a flourish of old-fashioned cursive. Then he slides 1 copy toward himself and hands me the other. That's it, he says. Painless. I fold the document and put it in my bag. Thank you for explaining everything. Of course. He stands, signaling the end of the meeting. You know we only want what's best for you. I know. Marcus and I leave. My father walks us to the door, still smiling. As we step outside, I hear Lauren's voice from the study, bright with relief. God, that was easier than I thought. We're back in Boston by 6. I don't speak during the drive, and Marcus doesn't push. When we pull into the garage beneath my building, he finally turns to me. You okay? Yes. You're sure about this? I look at him. Marcus has worked for me for years. He's seen me negotiate with defense contractors, dress down CEOs, fire people who needed firing. He knows exactly who I am. They called me the smartest idiot they'd ever met, I say. His jaw tightens. When? Tuesday night. I heard them planning this. All of it. Jesus, Evelyn. They think I don't understand how money works. They think I'm too stupid to read fine print. They signed a document that renounces their claim to $8 billion, and they did it because they were so certain I was too naive to see them coming. Marcus is quiet for a long moment. Then, when do they find out? Tomorrow night. IPO closes at 4. We're hosting a gala at the Greenwich Estate at 7. 500 people. My father insisted. He wants to celebrate the family's success. He doesn't know it's your company. No. He knows Helix Sentinel. He talks about us all the time. He likes to tell people his firm handles our cybersecurity audits. He has no idea I'm E. Carter. And tomorrow you're going to tell him. No. Tomorrow, Daniel's going to introduce me. Publicly. In front of everyone who matters. Marcus exhales slowly. That's cold, Evelyn. Yes. You want me there? Yes. He nods. Then I'll be there. The gala is held under a white tent on the east lawn of the estate. It's one of those flawless October evenings where the air is cool and sharp and the sky bleeds orange into purple. There are round tables dressed in ivory linen, centerpieces of white roses and eucalyptus, a string quartet playing something elegant and forgettable. I arrive at 7:15 wearing a black dress I bought specifically for this. Simple, expensive, perfectly tailored. My hair is down. I'm wearing the diamond earrings my grandmother left me. No one recognizes me at first. I move through the crowd slowly, listening. The conversations are predictable. Someone's yacht, someone's divorce, someone's daughter who just got into Yale. I accept a glass of champagne from a passing waiter and don't drink it. At 7:40, I see my father near the bar, holding court. He's in his element, gesturing broadly, making people laugh. Lauren is beside him, immaculate in cream silk, taking a selfie with someone's wife. Michael is here too, standing near the edge of the tent, watching the crowd with the expression of someone calculating net worth. I stay on the periphery. At 8 o'clock, the CFO of one of our client banks makes a toast. People applaud politely. Then Daniel Roth steps up to the microphone. He's wearing a dark suit, silver tie, the kind of understated elegance that signals serious money. The crowd quiets. Good evening, Daniel says. His voice carries easily, confident and clear. For those who don't know me, I'm Daniel Roth, and I've had the privilege of working with Helix Sentinel over the past 18 months as we prepared for today's IPO. There's a murmur of interest. People shift, paying attention. I'm pleased to announce that as of 4 o'clock this afternoon, Helix Sentinel closed at $73 per share, nearly double our initial projection. Current valuation is $11.4 billion. Applause. My father is clapping, beaming. He doesn't know yet. Helix Sentinel has redefined cybersecurity infrastructure for the modern age, Daniel continues. Our clients trust us because we're relentless, innovative, and uncompromising. And that starts at the top. It starts with our founder. I see Lauren's head turn slightly. She's listening now. When E. Carter started this company 9 years ago, people said she was too young. Too ambitious. Too unconventional. But she didn't build this company to prove anyone wrong. She built it because she saw a problem no one else was solving. My father's smile has frozen. It's my honor, Daniel says, to introduce the founder and CEO of Helix Sentinel, Evelyn Carter. There's a beat of silence. Then the crowd turns, scanning, trying to locate me. I step forward. I walk through the crowd calmly, without hurrying. People part to let me through. I hear whispers, confused and amazed. I reach the microphone. Daniel steps aside, smiling. I don't smile. Thank you, Daniel. My voice is steady, clear. I look out at the crowd. 500 faces, some familiar, most not. Near the back, I see my father. His face has gone pale. 9 years ago, I say, I started Helix Sentinel because I believe that security isn't about walls. It's about architecture. It's about understanding how systems fail and building something better. I pause. The tent is completely silent. Today, that belief became worth $11.4 billion. I own 71% of the company. That makes my personal net worth approximately $8.1 billion. I let that land. I've spent the past 9 years building this in private, not because I was ashamed, but because privacy has value. Because being underestimated has value. Because when people think you're not paying attention, they show you exactly who they are. My father is staring at me like I'm a stranger. Some of you know me as Jonathan Carter's daughter. The one who plays with computers. The one who never quite lived up to her potential. I let the words hang. I want to be clear, I lived up to exactly the potential I set for myself. I just didn't ask for your permission. There's scattered applause, uncertain, building. I raise a hand. There's one more thing. I reach into the small clutch I'm carrying and pull out the folded document. Last week, my father asked me to sign some estate paperwork. A quitclaim deed. A trust reformation. He told me I wouldn't understand it. I unfold the pages slowly, deliberately. He was right that I signed it. He was wrong about what I understood. I flipped to page 7 and read aloud, my voice calm and precise. The undersigned hereby voluntarily and irrevocably waives any and all claims, present or future, to financial support, inheritance allocation, IPO proceeds, equity distribution, or any other assets derived from the Carter family estate or Helix Sentinel Corporation. I look up. My father's face is white. Lauren has gone completely still. This document, which my father and sister witnessed, renounces their claim to approximately $8 billion in assets. They signed it because they believed I was too naive to deceive them. Too stupid to read fine print. Too sentimental to see them coming. I fold the document and put it back in my bag. They were wrong. The tent erupts. Not applause, chaos. People are talking, shouting questions, pulling out phones. I see Lauren staring at me, her expression caught between shock and fury. Michael has gone grey. My father pushes through the crowd toward me. Evelyn. I turn and walk away. Marcus is waiting at the edge of the tent. We leave through the side entrance, walk across the lawn to the car. Behind us, I can hear my father calling my name, his voice ragged and desperate. I don't look back. We drive in silence for 10 minutes. Then Marcus says, quietly, how do you feel? I think about it. Free. The fallout is immediate and comprehensive. By Monday morning, the story is everywhere. Business Insider runs a profile titled The Billionaire No One Saw Coming. Forbes does a feature on a strategic invisibility in tech. My father's law firm issues a statement distancing themselves from his personal financial decisions. Lauren's Instagram, which had 400,000 followers, goes dark. The comments on her last post, a selfie from the gala, minutes before Daniel's speech, are brutal. Michael's firm lets him go on Tuesday. Quietly, with a severance package and an NDA. It doesn't matter. Everyone knows. On Wednesday, my father's firm receives a letter from Helix Sentinel's legal department. We're terminating our cybersecurity audit contract and reviewing our liability coverage. The new premiums, given recent concerns about judgment and professional conduct, it will be 30% higher. It's petty. I don't care. On Thursday, I have the locks changed at Hawthorne House. My grandmother's house, 47 acres of coastal Maine, cedar shingles and salt air, and a library that smells like old books and safety. I hire a property manager. I don't plan to live there. I just want to know it's mine. My father tries calling 63 times in the first week. I don't answer. Lauren sends an email with the subject line, "We need to talk." I delete it unread. Michael sends a text that just says, "I'm sorry." I block his number. 3 weeks after the IPO, I change my phone number entirely. I send the new one to 7 people: Daniel, Marcus, my assistant, 3 members of my executive team, and a college friend who lives in Tokyo and has never met my family. I don't send it to my mother, who called once, crying, asking how I could do this to my father. I don't send it to my aunt, who left a voicemail explaining that family is supposed to forgive. Forgiveness is not the same as trust. And I'm done pretending I owe them either. 4 weeks after the gala, I'm sitting in my office on the 23rd floor of our Boston headquarters. It's 8 in the morning, and the city is bright and cold outside the window. There's coffee in a ceramic mug on my desk, steam rising in a thin curl. There's a knock on the door. "Come in." Marcus enters, followed by Daniel and our chief technical officer, a woman named Priya Metter who's been with me since the beginning. She built half our core architecture and has a mind like a surgical blade. "Morning," I say. "Morning." Priya drops into the chair across from my desk. "We have a problem." "What kind of problem?" "The good kind. DARPA wants to talk about a contract. Exclusive infrastructure redesign for classified networks. It's a 10-year project. Estimated value is somewhere north of $3 billion. I look at Daniel. "What's the catch?" "The timeline. They want a pitch in 6 weeks. Full proposal, prototype, team allocation. It's aggressive. Can we do it?" Priya grins. "Absolutely." "Then do it." They leave, already talking logistics. Marcus lingers near the door. "You good?" he asks. "Yes. I mean actually good. Not just functional." I consider the question. A month ago, I stood in a tent full of people who thought they knew me and burned down every bridge I had to a family that never saw me. I walked away from a legacy that was never mine and claimed one I built with my own hands. I'm not sad. I'm not angry. I'm not relieved. I'm just here. "I'm good," I say. He nods and closes the door. I turn back to the window. The city spreads out below, all glass and steel and purposeful motion. Somewhere out there, my father is trying to salvage his reputation. Lauren is reconstructing her brand. Michael is sending out resumes and wondering how he miscalculated so badly. They're not my problem anymore. I pick up my coffee and take a sip. It's still hot. My calendar alert chimes. Staff meeting in 15 minutes. After that, a call with our London office. Then a working lunch with the CTO of a healthcare network we're pitching. My day is full of problems I chose, work I care about, people who see me clearly. At 9 o'clock, I head down to the conference room. The team is already assembled, 12 people, smart and ruthless and absolutely committed. They stand when I walk in, not out of deference, but respect. Morning, I say, taking my seat at the head of the table. Morning, they chorus back. Priya pulls up the DARPA proposal on the screen. We spend the next 90 minutes dismantling the problem, identifying vulnerabilities, building solutions. Someone makes a joke. Someone else argues a technical point. I listen, contribute, redirect when necessary. This is my family now. Not blood. Choice. At 10:30, we break. People filter out, laughing, talking, caffeinated and focused. I stay behind, gathering my notes. Marcus appears in the doorway. Your 11 o'clock is here early. Who's my 11 o'clock? Senator Warren's chief of staff. Something about a cybersecurity briefing. I smile. Give me 5 minutes. He nods and leaves. I stand alone in the conference room for a moment, looking at the wall of windows that face the harbor. The water is dark blue today, stippled with light. I think about my grandmother, who used to tell me that power isn't loud. It's not about making people see you. It's about deciding who gets to. I think about the girl I was at 18, building encryption software in a basement apartment, teaching herself things she wasn't supposed to know. I think about the woman I am now, standing in a room I own, in a company I built, with a future I designed from scratch. Somewhere in Greenwich, my father is learning that reputation is just a story people tell about you. And stories change. Somewhere in Manhattan, Lauren is discovering that image is fragile when it's built on someone else's foundation. Somewhere in the city, Michael is realizing that underestimating someone is the fastest way to lose everything. But I'm not thinking about them. I'm thinking about the DARPA contract. The London expansion. The new security protocol Priya's been developing. The 1,500 people who work for this company and trust me to lead it well. I'm thinking about Hawthorne House, empty and waiting, full of my grandmother's books and the smell of salt air. I'm thinking about the life I built in silence while everyone was looking the other way. I pick up my portfolio and walk out of the conference room. The office hums around me, alive and purposeful. People nod as I parse. Someone asks a question about server allocation. I answer without breaking stride. At the elevator, Marcus is waiting. Ready? He asks. Yes. The doors open. We step inside. As the elevator descends, I catch my reflection in the polished steel. Dark suit, calm expression, no apology in my posture. I look exactly like who I am. The doors open onto the lobby. Sunlight streams through the glass atrium, bright and unforgiving. I step out into it. And I keep moving.